Hi guys, my name is Josh Van Dorin. I'm a physical therapist, clinic manager for CORA Physical Therapy in Marengo, Illinois. I just wanted to talk for a couple minutes about a simple topic that's something that we've talked a lot about with our patients recently, and that's basically maintaining an active lifestyle, staying active, performing exercises during the winter months. So if you live anywhere like us in the Midwest where it's cold, there's not a lot of opportunities to get outside and stay active like you might have in the spring, summer, and fall. So that's something we preach to patients a lot. A lot of our patients will tend to be outside during the summer months doing like yard care, gardening activities, go out for walks, and you just can't do that right now with snow-packed, ice-packed sidewalks. Cold temperatures, people don't want to do it, and especially this year, we've got a lot of patients who normally would go around, walk in malls, walk in large stores just to get exercise and get out of the house. A lot of people aren't comfortable doing that, just with the current environment with COVID-19. So I wanted to share a few simple exercises you can do at home. There's really hundreds of exercises out there. They're all good. I wanted to show a few simple ones that you can do with minimal time, space, and equipment. So that's something we try to do with our patients a lot, is how do we make this as easy as possible for you to be able to perform at home. So these specific exercises are good. There's other ones out there, but just know having an exercise program doesn't mean you need to have a huge home gym. You don't need to have an hour of time to do it, and you don't need tons of expensive equipment. That's all good options if you have it. If not, keep in mind it can be helpful to even do short little bouts of exercise throughout the day, whether it's 5 or 10 minutes here and there. If you do that several times a day, you add up that amount of activity in one day throughout a week, and that's quite a bit more than you would have otherwise gotten. It's better than sitting on the couch. And a lot of these things you can do throughout the day. If you're watching TV, you can do it as you watch TV. If you're somebody that likes to read or sew and knit, you can stop every once in a while and take 5 or 10 minutes, do a few exercises. Or if you're like my wife, who is home all day with 3 kids and doesn't have time to do a lot of a big exercise program, you can always find little chunks of time to sneak it in throughout the day. So I wanted to show a few simple ones that we have patients do. They're very basic. Most people have probably done them if you've done any exercise. But like here, I've got 5-pound weights. You can usually buy these fairly cheap at any store that sells exercise equipment. We have patients sometimes, if they don't have any and don't want to go buy them, grab something like a soup can or a water bottle that may be just a couple pounds. It's not a lot of weight, but it's enough to keep you moving and active. And I guess before I start that, forgot to share, exercise has many benefits. A lot of people are looking for the magic pill to health. And exercise is something that's very underrated. It costs nothing for the most part, unless you're buying equipment. But just remember, it's got a lot of huge benefits for you. It helps your heart function, your lung function, improves muscle mass, and it stops the reduction of muscle mass that we know older adults are prone to getting. It also helps bone density, which is very helpful for especially middle-aged, older women who might be at risk for osteoporosis and osteopenia. Help you with your daily activities, make you less likely to get injured once you're back to doing yard work in the summertime. Also help with balance and fall risk for older adults. So there's a ton of benefits to simple exercises. It doesn't need to be complicated. So like I said, I'll show you a few basic simple ones. Like I said, these are 5-pound weights, so it's not super heavy. If you're somebody that does a lot of heavy lifting, you might need more, but if you're an average person looking to just stay active, this is a quick, easy, simple routine. So, apologize, I'm going to start with the bands instead. So you can buy these bands at anywhere that sells exercise equipment. Most therapy clinics give them to patients too. So if you've been in therapy, you probably have a few laying around. So I usually like to do a quick mini circuit to hit a lot of muscles around the shoulder blades. They're quick and easy to perform. So you tuck your elbows at your sides. Basically, I'll just do 5 of them just to show. But basically pulling the band apart, working on posture, pinching those shoulder blades back together, because a lot of us tend to really slouch forward as we sit throughout the day or do computer work. So it's something almost anybody can benefit from. So we're doing a few, pull the band, pinch the shoulder blades back, hold a few seconds and release it nice and slow and controlled. like so. And all these exercises we're doing with the arms, you can make a good core trunk exercise by tightening the stomach, keeping a good neck position. A lot of people tend to do anything with resistance and want to poke that head forward. So it's always good to work on a good chin tuck position. Doing a few of these. And then the next exercise, we go arms straight out in front here, and basically the same idea where you're pulling the band apart, but you focus on pinching those shoulder blades back together. Just like this. And again, it's almost like you want to pull with your shoulder blades. I always tell patients, pull with the shoulder blades through your arms. So you're holding the band with your arms, but you're really pulling with the shoulder blades. And again, working on your trunk engagement, keeping the neck engaged too. And then the last one of this little mini circuit is some diagonal. So holding it with thumb up position on both hands, and basically pulling this one arm up and one arm back. And you'll feel that work around the shoulder blades quite a bit. This, and then you can switch hands, go thumb up on both hands, and then just do the exact opposite. So on this arm, you're working a lot of muscles in the shoulder to work on some overhead strength. And then on this arm, you're working the back side of the shoulder blade and shoulder, working on some pulling strength. Good, so that's that one. If you've got a band with enough resistance or you do enough repetitions, you can give yourself a pretty nice workout throughout the entire shoulder blade area, literally in just a couple minutes. It's quick and easy. You can leave the band, if you tend to sit in the same spot throughout the day, you can leave the band right there on a little table, or leave it in one place where you spend a lot of time, and that can be a cue or a reminder to pick up the band, throw in a couple minutes of exercise, and try to do that once or twice a day. Like I said with the weights earlier, these are 5-pound weights. If you don't have weights, you can always use like a soup can or something like that. And I'll have patients a lot of times just do some raising straight overhead. And again, working on keep the stomach tight so you're not arching your back a ton. That'll put more stress on the low back. So you can do some going straight forward here. And then I'll also have patients do them a lot of times just angled out, a little bit of a different feel. And then you can also do straight to the side if you're not having any. Tends to be a little more aggravating to the shoulder if you have issues. If not, it's a good, easy exercise. So there you've worked in 3 different planes of motion: straight forward, angled out to the side, and straight out to the side. And then, again, as long as you're not having any big shoulder issues, I'll usually still like to do some overhead pressing. It's always a good idea to keep the elbows a little bit out front so you're not getting way behind and more prone to pinching, irritating things in the shoulder. Because that, again, these are all simple things that you need functional strength to do, whether you're reaching up into cabinets or putting weighted objects on a cabinet. Overhead strength is really important to daily life. And I've got this little loop band, so it's the same band I had here that was straight, just tied up in a loop. The other option is sometimes you'll see bands like this that have little Velcro cuffs around it. I'm going to put these around my ankle and do a few standing exercises. And this item is currently CORA Physical Therapy's online item of the month that we do sell if you're looking for a place to get them. But I'll just use this one for right now. So I'll put this around the ankles. Normally, I have patients try to use like a countertop or tabletop that's something solid and sturdy so that it doesn't move on you. For the sake of this, I'm using a chair, but I usually tell patients don't use a chair just because if you put a lot of weight on it, it can be prone to tipping or moving, and we don't want anybody falling. So from here, I'll have patients, this is a good hip circuit here that hits a lot of the hip glute muscles, which are really important for a lot of basic activities like getting up and down stairs, bending, squatting, and you tend to find a lot of people are very weak through these muscles. So it's a good, quick, easy one, and it'll get you tired pretty quick. So usually you just do some straight kicks to the side, like this. Angle it this way. You can do both legs. So you can do these one leg at a time, or you can alternate. With this, you're working the leg that's kicking, those hip muscles are working, but on that opposite side, those same hip muscles are working too, just to balance and stabilize while you stand on one foot like this. So do some side to side, can also do some kicking straight back. And with this, we always have people try to squeeze with the butt and engage those glute muscles, just coming straight back. Now, a lot of people will tend to want to compensate by either arching the back and use a lot of low back muscle, which isn't good. And then at the same time, people will try to lean forward and try to really kick that leg back. So don't worry so much on how far you're moving, but try to feel it on this back side. Focus on the muscles that are working. So again, with this, a lot of times we'll alternate side to side, like this, and then same thing with just some forward kicks. Again, tighten. This one's working more the front side of the hip, so usually I have patients tighten up this quad muscle on the front side and just do some simple kicks this way. Like that. So it's basically the three directions. You're going forward, sideways, and backward. And again, that hits all these different muscles around the hip, and a lot of these muscles spill down through the thigh and affect the knee as well. So those are common therapy exercises we do. And then again, holding on to or having countertop or tabletop available is helpful with these. We'll do some, so we'll pretend I'm holding on, and we'll do just some simple side stepping. So if you're comfortable with it and your knees are okay, you can always get yourself into like a nice little mini squat position and just do some simple side steps. Just being careful not to let the band pull your leg in real quick. So you're working this leg that has to pull the band, but then this back leg is also working to resist the band, wanting to pull the feet back together. So usually if you do this down and back across the countertop just several times, you'll feel some good work through the hips. So usually do that back and forth a few times. And then the other one I do with those together, called monster walk. It's a goofy one, but it's basically, again, if you're comfortable in a little mini squat position is good. If not, you can always do them straight up. But trying to work on just some like diagonal steps forward here, and then also coming backward, where you get a little more backside glute action. But you can see with these standing ones, you're working hip muscles, but you're also getting yourself comfortable moving in some different directions, side to side, pushing diagonally, forward, backward. So you're strengthening, but you're also helping a little bit of like balance and stability. And a lot of times we do a lot of walking straight forward, but people tend to more prone to losing balance when you're moving side to side or in different directions, other than straight forward. So those, again, is a quick little mini circuit that you can grab this band, take 5 minutes or so, and get a really good workout and get your heart rate up. And it's a good way to get activity in throughout the day. The last thing I was going to show is basically just a little bit of standing balance stuff. So if you really have poor balance and feel like you're at risk for falling, I would not do these alone. But these are great ones, again, to do in front of a countertop or a tabletop that you have something you can kind of touch to in case you do lose balance. So the simplest way to start it is just with your feet together, where you're a little less stable. And just with your arms in front of you, you can stand and hold balance. You'll see some patients will really tend to sway and shift. Usually hold it for maybe 20 or 30 seconds, depending on how good you are with it. You can definitely hold it longer too. If that's fairly easy, the next option would be doing it with your eyes closed and trying to hold the balance. And again, be careful not to do this if you feel like you're going to fall. You can kind of have your fingertips on a countertop. And then a slight progression of that, a little more challenging, would be with your feet staggered like this, doing the same thing, just holding the balance. And if that's also easy, we do that with both feet. So 1 foot forward, and then when you're done, you switch to the other foot forward. And if that's easy, you can also get to where you're truly right, one foot in front of the other, one right behind, or very close, and you're a lot less stable in this position, so it's even more of a challenge for you. And again, you can do that eyes open or eyes closed. So those are also very simple. So your feet together, your feet kind of staggered here, and then if you're really good with those, you can also get them a little bit more in line with each other and make it more of a challenge. And then the final progression of those, in therapy clinics we use these. They're also on the Therapy Essentials store that CORA has. foam balance pad. So if you don't have one at home, you can also use, I've had patients use a pillow on the ground or a pillow folded up. I know I've had a few that have taken couch cushions off their couch. Anything that's got a little bit of give to it, and you can do those same exact exercises here, but it's less stable and it gives a little bit more of a challenge where your feet are constantly moving just a little bit. And that's good because it makes you have to learn how to lose your balance just a little bit and correct yourself and keep your balance instead of completely losing it and falling over. So those are a couple simple things that we'll try to do. And then the very last one that I was going to show is an exercise ball. So this one's a little bit big, but basically we'll have patients a lot of times, especially if they tend to sit a lot throughout the day, is try to grab a ball like this, and every once in a while throughout the day, try to sit in the ball for several minutes at a time, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And even just in sitting here, you've got to use and engage a little bit more trunk muscle to keep you on the ball. Because if you're completely lazy and relaxed, you're likely to slide off and lose balance. So even just in sitting, you're able to get a little bit of muscle work without really having to do any exercise. So that's a good option. And while you're sitting, you can actually do any exercise sitting on the ball for a little bit of extra trunk stability work. Because again, if I do some of these original exercises, I'm pulling with the band, I'm working my upper body, my shoulders, doing these, but I'm also having to use a little bit more muscle through here to keep myself balanced on the ball. So those are just a couple quick, simple, easy to fit in exercises that, again, you can squeeze in. Anybody can really squeeze in throughout their day, whether you're working from home and you get a quick break and you want to sneak in a couple minutes of activity, or you're retired and you don't work and you tend to get stuck on the couch, or you're doing just some light daily stuff. These are easy things that you can squeeze in for very, very little cost. They don't necessarily need to take a lot of time. I'll usually have people do maybe 1 or 2 rounds of 8 to 10 repetitions each time, enough that you get a workout, but it doesn't need to be 100 repetitions all at once. And yeah, it's a great way to sneak in some activity throughout the winter when you can't get outside. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully this helps stay active throughout the winter. Thanks.